In this tutorial, we're going to learn how to use pivot tables in Excel for analyzing and summarizing data. And the example we're going to look at is softball data from hits my students have made in years before 2011. And as you see here, we have in column A the distance a softball is hit. And in each row we have the feet the people hit. One person hit 57 feet, another person hit 246 feet. And you see we have a lot of data. It goes all the way to 573 rows. Now, in addition to the distance a person hit the ball, we know their gender. We know whether they were male or female. We also know the years of experience they have on a softball or baseball team. For instance, this person who hit 65 feet is a female who has more than 3 years of experience. Some people have only 1 to 3 years of experience, and some people have no experience. And what we want to do is see how the average hitting distance varies for people of different genders and of different years of experience on a softball or baseball team. And we're going to do that by creating and using something called a pivot table. To create a pivot table, we're first going to go to the top left corner of Excel to the Insert menu. And after we see Insert, we're going to select Pivot Table and again Pivot Table. And then the first thing this wants us to do is select the table or range of data. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to click this box and then select all my data, including the variable labels. The first thing I'm doing is selecting these 3 cells, which contains the names of my variables. Then I'm going to select all the data underneath it. Once I've done that, I can click OK in the Create Pivot Table dialog box. And Excel creates a new sheet for me here. And one thing you'll notice about this sheet is it has this kind of strange looking diagram right here, and over to the right we have a box named Pivot Table Field List. Now you'll notice if you click anywhere in a cell outside that diagram, that field list goes away. If you click inside the pivot table, the field list shows up. To do a pivot table, first thing we want to do is tell Excel the variable we're interested in. And for us, this is distance a softball is hit. That's what we're interested in. And you'll notice what Excel gives me is the sum of all softball hitting distances for all students. Now that's not interesting to us. What we're interested in is the average hitting distance of students. So we need to tell Excel we don't care about the sum of hitting distances, we care about the average. And we do that by going to the lower right hand corner of Excel, going to the box labeled values, clicking where it says sum of distance, and then I'm going to click value field settings. And once I do this, I'm going to come over and say we're not interested in the sum, we're interested in the average. So I'll select average and then OK. And you'll notice that it changes. Now it tells me the average softball hitting distance is 138 feet. Well, we want to know, what is the hitting distance? How does it differ from males and females? When I answer this, I'm going to come over to the pivot table field list. I'm going to left click on gender, hold the left click button down. I'm going to drag gender down to the box labeled row labels. Once I do this, you'll see that the pivot table box has changed somewhat. Now it's telling me that the average hitting distance for females is 87 feet and the average hitting distance for males is 167 feet. Probably not surprising, but let's say now what we're interested in is how hitting distances differ for years of experience. So I'm going to grab years of experience, bring it down to the box labeled row labels, and now we have a new pivot table. And what this pivot table is telling us is that for females with 1 to 3 years of hitting distance, they hit about 84 feet. Females with more than 3 years of experience hit 113 feet. Females with no experience only hit 58 feet. So for females, the more experience they have on a softball or baseball team, the further they hit. Now we go down to males. And you can see it tells us the average hitting distance for males is 167 feet. But for males with 1 to 3 years of experience, the average hitting distance is 144 feet. For more than 3 years, a male will hit 178 feet. But for no years of experience, they hit 143 feet. Now notice the hitting distance when they have no experience and 1 to 3 years of experience is about the same. So from here we learned that getting 1 to 3 years of baseball, softball experience doesn't make a big difference in the data, but if they play more than 3 years, they definitely hit further. Now notice we can also make a fair comparison of hitting distance between males and females. We don't want to just compare the average hitting distance of females to males because males have more experience playing. So let's look at males and females with no years of experience. A female with no years of experience hits 57 feet. A male with no years of experience hits 143 feet. We find that males do hit further when they have the same years of experience with females. A female with more than 3 years of experience will hit 113 feet, while a male with more than 3 years of experience will hit 178 feet. Again, when you compare males and females with similar years of experience, males hit further. You can see pivot tables are a very effective and easy way of analyzing data, and we could include many more variables in our pivot table list, and they can become larger, but the basic structure is simple and the basic structure is the same as what we've shown you here.